Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So we're so pleased to be speaking with you today. I'm Christina McPhillips. I'm joined by Jennifer Shin of the Seattle Public Library Foundation. And today we're going to be answering some frequently asked questions. We've been getting a lot of questions over the last few weeks about Library Giving Day, and there's been so much enthusiasm, and it's been wonderful. And we thought we would compile all of these questions, share them with you, and then you may feel more empowered to carry on a wonderful campaign yourselves. So, Jennifer, thanks for being here.
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here and really excited to answer more questions as the momentum has really grown around this campaign. So I'll let you kick it off.
Okay, sounds good. Remember, you can ask us any additional questions you want in our chat box or our question box. We'll be happy to answer them. If for some reason we don't get back to you today because the webinar ends too early, we'll make sure to put these on the Library Giving Day website. So off we go. All right. What you can expect to see today, just a little welcome, some introductions, we just did those, and then questions and answers. Jennifer and I are going to do that together. I've got some of the marketing knowledge, she's got some of the institutional library knowledge. All right, so let's go with, before we get started, we wanted to tell you that Library Giving Day and the tools on librarygivingday.org are resources for you to use as you like. Our planning team has created these materials for you to make Library Giving Day your own. The materials that you have are edit-ready files, different things you can download from the website. You can edit them and change them however you like. We want to empower you to run a really great campaign. And remember, go easy on yourselves. This is the very first year of Library Giving Day, so do what you can now and plan more for next year. No need to, kill yourselves to have an amazing campaign that you can only plan in a week or two. Do what you can, be happy with your success this year, and there's always next year. So with that being said, more questions. All right. This is one of the number one questions we've received so far. What is the cost to participate in Library Giving Day? Nothing. This is your campaign to conduct as you like. You can do a large-scale campaign, a small-scale campaign. You can get stickers and buttons and things like that made. You can put posters up. You can send out emails. You can do all or none of those things. But this is your own campaign, and there's no cost to participate. We had one, are Canadian libraries eligible to participate? Of course, all friends north of the border are welcome. All libraries are welcome, so we're happy to have you. Anyone that wants to participate can. And then, Jennifer, I'm going to read through this one, but let me know if you have anything you wanted to mention about it. Can library friends groups or library foundations or individual libraries participate? And the answer is we'd suggest working together, the friends and foundations, to reduce donor confusion, but this depends on the current relationship between the two organizations. Jennifer, anything else to add there?
No, I think that, each library system is unique and different, and really working together so that there's cross-promotion happening is really important. We just ask that every library system that there is just one listing per system, whether it's the Friends or the Foundation. So, we can talk a little bit more about that, but again, it's hard to say without really understanding the background and the relationship of each library system, but absolutely connecting and talking with the leadership of both organizations to come up with a plan that feels the best would be our recommendation. And one more thing I might add just in response to, there's no cost for this campaign. However, you might speak to this in a little bit, Christina, but I might just mention early on in this webinar that we just ask that all participants share their results, and we'll be sharing out a way to collect information at the end. And that is really the only requirement that we have for participation is to share your results and to continue to plan together moving forward in the coming years. So I just wanted to mention that real quick.
That's an excellent point. We will never know how well the campaigns did or the needles that they moved for your libraries if you don't share your results. And we don't necessarily need an in-depth report, but if you're able to provide any revenue generated, positive feedback, number of gifts, things like that. That is so meaningful to us. And I know on a personal level, I'd love to be sitting here 5 years from now, 5 years into Library Giving Day, and say, look at the increases in revenue we can track for these libraries across North America. And we're only able to do that if you share your results with us. So,
and that will likely go out in a survey form is what we're thinking. So
perfect. Great. Okay, let's move on to some others. Will the dedicated giving be just a day, or do we have the liberty to extend the campaign to a week or longer? You can extend the campaign to as long as you like. We encourage you to do many days of promotion, but whatever your team can handle. The reason we encourage many days of promotion is because we know that that will probably get more traction. If you were to just turn your campaign on April 10th, which is Library Giving Day, then you're only informing people on that one day. There's not a whole lot of buildup. But I know for certain libraries, they will run a weeks-long campaign, and they may send thank you messages about Library Giving Day after April 10th to tell people of the successes that they've had. So it's whatever your team can handle this year. But remember, you can always expand next year. Any thoughts, Jennifer?
No, that was great.
Okay, good. Oh, so the most important question, where do we find free resources to help us promote Library Giving Day? You can find the full toolkit, logos, sample emails, and posters on librarygivingday.org under the Campaign Tools tab. We encourage you to download and change, adjust the emails, the logos, not the logos, add the logos to your materials, whatever you need to do to make this campaign appropriate and successful for your library. I have one question that just came in. Someone said, I'm just curious, can you elaborate on why April 10th was selected specifically? That's a great question. So we went with April 10th because, Jennifer, please correct me if I'm wrong, that second week in April was already dedicated as a Library Giving Week or Libraries Week. Is that right?
Yeah, it was. We work closely with ALA and in terms of working with them and their Library Awareness Week that happens that week every single year, and that's sort of an established campaign dedicated to raise awareness for libraries across the country. And so we were able to lock in that Wednesday of that week, which we actually are sharing with Bookmobile Day. And so it just was this perfect opportunity to collaborate and just have it placed in such a critical time during the year anyway. So so it's, for right now, it is going to be a spring campaign. And so I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. There was one other question that's just come in. Are capabilities to send mass emails and to accept online donations through individual library websites still required to be able to participate? Really, there's no true requirements to be able to participate, but we will not be providing a way to take donations. I had somebody give me a call yesterday and ask, does this Library Giving Day function more like a citywide, I'm sure some of you have heard of citywide giving days, where the city actually provides and requires that you use their donation platform to receive gifts, and then the city takes just a small chunk of the money and then writes you a check after the campaign, versus receiving donations on your own website. We want you to receive donations on your own site. We do not have a way to take donations in mass on your behalf. So just something to know. Okay, let's go on to our next question. Can we customize the poster and other samples provided in the toolkit? Absolutely, yes. Feel free to add your library logo and email address on all materials. You're welcome to take what has been shared and make it your own. And we want you to. And then another question, if you're joining this campaign late, what can you do to promote this with limited resources and time? And that's such a great question. And I know a number of you have just recently heard about Library Giving Day. So review the checklist on our website, on the Library Giving Day website, to make sure that you have the basic capabilities, and then strategize what's possible given a short timeline. So maybe that's some e-news blasts or emails, or spreading the word through your library staff and patrons and volunteers. Perhaps all you can do is just put up some posters and send out one email. Something's better than nothing. You just need to evaluate what's appropriate for your organization. You may be a one-person shop, and that's okay. Totally fine. Just do what you can, and remember, there's always next year. Okay. Do you have guidance to ensure that there's no competition between Foundation and Friends of specific branches? And I know Jennifer just said this, but working together and supporting this campaign would be the best way to leverage it. So working together being the main message. You may find that one entity has a larger email house file that you can be sending messages to, or the infrastructure to support the campaign. So perhaps the Foundation has a better way to receive donations online. Perhaps the Friends organization has more email addresses to send to. So you'll just have to figure out what your personal capabilities are and then use that. Jennifer, was that any other thoughts, or was that pretty good?
No, that's wonderful. I mean, I might speak to what we're doing here in Seattle. There is a foundation and a Friends organization, and we've had a wonderful relationship with the Friends organization. And so the foundation is the fundraising arm of the library. And so we are leading this campaign for Seattle, and we are working very closely with the Friends, and they will be helping us to promote on their social media site, which they happen to have a much larger following online. And so we're very lucky to have established that relationship, and they're going to help us promote this campaign, although all gifts will be driven to the foundation's donation form. And so there's also other ways. We've done some cross promotion. For example, they just had a very successful, very large book sale. And during that book sale, they also helped share little buttons and stickers that we created for this campaign. And so that's what's really worked well here in Seattle. Just an idea, but just wanted to share what that looks like here in Seattle. So.
Okay, great. Thank you for doing that. It's good to see an example. Thank you. Another question, do you intend both the library system and the foundation to register? Let me explain what register means. If you go to the Library Giving Day website, you have the ability to enter your library's information, and there is a map of North America, and people will be able to find your library, kind of their local library, if you add that information, if you add your information in, or if you register on the page. You're not registering to necessarily participate with us as much as you are registering for people to find you and know that you're participating in Library Giving Day. So it's kind of a marketing tool for yourself. We recommend you do it. So what we do recommend is one organization per library system should register online. We would recommend the organization that has the ability to collect donations and send emails should register in case donors click on your listing on the Library Giving Day website. All right, another, does the participant need to be a 501c3 organization? We don't have a foundation, this person says. We have a city library fund. So the answer is we strongly recommend further discussions with your leadership team in terms of what would be legally permissible, given this is a fundraising campaign. And if you have a Friends organization that has a donation form you can leverage, we would recommend exploring that option. Remember, you want the ability to receive donations as easily as possible. However, any library system without a foundation or Friends organization can participate in the awareness building aspect of the work and leveraging the branding. So I guess another situation where we say, talk internally and figure out what your capabilities are. We hope you feel empowered to run a campaign that's appropriate for you. Okay, somebody says, we're a regional library system with 48 member public libraries. Most do not have online giving capabilities. We have a foundation with online giving, and each library could have a fund with us so patrons can designate gifts to the library. Are there any issues you see with this? And there are no issues with this. Please keep in mind that as a requirement to participate, we ask that all participants submit their results. In this case, you'll just need to report back what was raised total for the 48 libraries in your system. Another person says, we have multiple libraries in our system and most of our patrons do not know that their individual library branch is part of a larger district or system. I'm sure that's pretty common. Do I need to enter each of our individual libraries into the Join the Movement section of the Library Giving Day website so that each of our libraries are listed? And we ask that you please don't do that. The purpose of the map is to include only one library system for the purposes of collecting donations and driving people to the right website. So we ask that you don't list each of them. Another person says, we, like most foundations, have a spring annual appeal or a spring appeal scheduled around mid-April. Do you have any thoughts or strategies on how to manage this? And Jennifer, I'm going to read this answer, but then I'm going to turn it over to you because I know your Seattle Public Library is in this situation too. So leveraging this type of email campaign and folding it into your current appeal is one as a part of your email series. It could also be promoted in other ways, like an e-newsletter, in branches. Sometimes leveraging this type of email campaign with a match and an end date creates a heightened sense of philanthropy that's hard to replace in a regular email campaign. So Jennifer, tell me more about what your library is doing.
Yeah, so Seattle Public Library Foundation, we essentially have two seasonal annual campaigns, and we've already had an established spring campaign that actually happened a little bit later in the year, around May. However, we've chosen to move that up a little bit, and we began promoting in March. And so we started and kicked off that spring campaign with a direct mail component and folding in all of the email work. So that's all happening simultaneously, and it will all culminate on April 10th. And so we have a pretty robust strategy combining direct mail as well as email. And then we have all of our in-branch promotion that happens. So again, this happened a little later in previous years. However, we've moved that up and worked closely with the library to help spread the word. But we really feel good about how the campaign is unfolding. And so, yeah, I think that it's worked really well for us in terms of just leveraging this kind of campaign, leveraging the branding and sort of the just the heightened sense of philanthropy and giving that happens with these types of online giving campaigns. We've also secured a pretty incredible and generous challenge match from some key donors, and so we're also using that to really inspire donors to give generously this year. So there's a lot of moving pieces, and as you mentioned, Christina, we're also doing the e-news and going all in social media and working with different partners like the Friends and other organizations to help us promote that here, including securing some advertising in our local newspaper. And so yeah, so I'm excited to share the results at the end. However, we've been able to successfully fold this in and really elevate what we're doing here during the springtime.
Perfect. Wonderful answer. Thanks so much, Jennifer. Okay, someone says, what can we do when we don't have access to the library patron email list to grow our list? I would say start collecting emails now. This should be a part of your annual efforts to gain new donors and volunteers and other key constituents throughout the year. And remember, if this isn't very strong for you right now, this year in 2019, the first Library Giving Day, make it a real goal of yours for the 2020 Library Giving Day. Building an electronic communication strategy is something to consider, and making sure Library Giving Day is part of that plan is very important. And then another person asked, how do we oh, Jennifer, did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, only to add to that, that's a wonderful answer, but just thinking about the basics too for folks that there's key opportunities to collect emails. And if you haven't already integrated that into sort of your day-to-day, all the remits and the donation collection envelopes online, if there's a way for people to sign up for your e-news and also your various fundraisers, your events. I mean, every opportunity you have to collect email and your donors' information is pretty key to growing this kind of campaign. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
It's an excellent point. Everything that you can do. You can use these names to fundraise at year end too, which is a very important time of year to be raising money for yourselves, and people are more philanthropic. There are multiple uses when you build your email list. So highly recommend doing that. Another question, how do we fold this in when we're in the middle of another capital campaign or centennial celebration, especially when we already have a brand? And we are hoping that this would be part of your annual efforts and can be woven into your communications at the appropriate time of your campaign. For example, leveraging the hashtag and its momentum is fine without using all of the logos. Using the logos is always a great idea for a unified look, but during special years like what this person has expressed, you could choose to minimize the use of the logos and tie in the concept in your messaging. And I think this reinforces that Library Giving Day is really an ongoing campaign. It will be here for years. Do what you can and for what's appropriate for you. And those were our core questions that we were getting asked kind of again and again, and we wanted to really explain those for people. Since we started, I have just a couple more questions that folks have asked. So Jennifer, let me know your thoughts on this. Someone has asked, how do you recommend cross-promoting Library Giving Day as an addition to National Library Week?
That's a great question. Well, first of all, ALA, they've really stepped up and they are endorsing this campaign and are really big partners in our efforts here. And they will be promoting Library Giving Day in lots of different ways. And so you'll probably find as you look at the resources that ALA is already providing that this is most likely going to be a part of that. And so but in terms of folding it in, I mean, again, it's hard to say without knowing exactly what you're currently doing within your library systems. But really, I think using the opportunity to promote in the branches, and you could have ALA's Library Awareness Week material side by side with Library Giving Day, and really focusing the Wednesday, April 10th for the Day of Giving is important. I think there's ways to communicate that in the coming weeks. Really, there's still lots of opportunity to promote both and in ways that really complement each other. It's hard to say. I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Sure. No, that's great. I did also want to say there was another question. Do you have a proof of the sticker that you had printed that someone else can use to print locally? And for this person or anybody else that's interested in the sticker, let me just do a little research to see if it is something we can post on the website, or if not, that we can send out to the math group. So Jennifer and I will get back to this person on that, and some more to come. And then final question that has been asked, how are other libraries celebrating Library Giving Day in their branches if they are? Are they doing any displays or branch parties or programming that ties into Library Giving Day? For those of you out there right now, if you want to type into the question box really quickly anything that you are planning, I'm happy to read it off. So far, we haven't heard of anybody or I haven't, Jennifer might have, any parties, but we know that people are doing various displays and things like that. Jennifer, have you heard anything from anyone just yet about what they're doing?
I'm happy to share what we're doing here in Seattle, actually. So in terms of the in-branch visibility and what that looks like, we have just distributed posters in a few different sizes using the template in the toolkit, as well as buttons and stickers that could be distributed to the patrons, as well as having staff members wear that to promote it in the coming weeks. We also provided, let's see here, different ways to see it in the branches. So we worked with the library to have the digital signage have Library Giving Day displayed on there, as well as on the public computers. There are different splash pages, as well as working with the library to do some cross promotion on their own social media outlets and in their own e-news too. So, but in terms of in the branch, we have some of those campaign collateral materials distributed, as well as just anyone walking through the doors, if they're on one of the public computers, or they may get there's a tagline that's also on the receipts that print out, and also the receipts on the holds, and other little ways too. I know each library system looks different, but really exploring every different way to reach your patrons it's exciting, and you can be really creative about how you approach that. In terms of a party, here we're having a special party for staff in one of our at the central library here, and it's really something that we've worked with the library and the staff for years. We've had sort of a party to promote philanthropy and giving here in the library system, and so we do donuts and coffee, and we have we make it really easy for people to give a gift, and so we do that as a special thank you, and so that's been received really well here. Also, as a special staff incentive, we are selecting a couple of lucky staff winners who either make a gift towards the library giving campaign, or they've helped us promote this on their own social media site. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a financial contribution, but it can also be supporting us through social media and sharing one of our posts. And so we're going to randomly select a few winners where we're going to stock that particular branch's staff break room. And so those are just fun ways we've sort of engaged the staff here. So
those are really good ideas. And thank you for saying that. It actually allowed me to, a bunch of people to write their ideas. And with the 2 minutes that we have left, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I'm just going to quickly read through some of the things we've just heard from you, things that you are doing. So someone says, we're doing book drawings for prizes for those that donate or share their stories with us. And someone says, and having displays with I love my library because which detaches from the donation form. Someone says for National Library Week, we're sending thank you cards as the Friends Foundation to each of our branches, because Tuesday, April 9th, National Library Giving Day, a day for library staff, administrators, and friends and groups to recognize the valuable contributions made by all library workers. Another person says, we have several businesses that are hosting events that benefit the library, and our staff campaign is also in April, so that's tying in with Library Giving Day. Fantastic, extra tie-ins. Someone says that they have a National Library Week program tied into Library Giving Day. They're offering free genealogy webinars that will be promoted in the community via print and social media, and they have a page on Library Giving Day in the April newsletter, and they have an annual pizza fundraiser party on April 10th. So that's just so fantastic. Sorry, one more, and then we'll wrap up. Another library says that they are inviting participating branches to complete a participation award. The award will go to the branch that gets the most involved by posting pictures on their social media or setting up a branch display with collaterals and collecting gifts and staff giving, because the branches are different size, so they're not basing it on giving alone. Fantastic idea. These are really good ideas. So with all that being said, we are at time. We hope you've enjoyed this webinar. It is being recorded. We will post it on the Library Giving Day website. I want to thank Jennifer Shin so much for being here with me, and we look forward to hearing about your campaigns, and good luck to you.